My name is Maina Doe. I'm an alternative R&B artist from Sydney, Australia. I want to take you through some key moments that have made me what I am today and have brought me here into the present moment. As an artist, I would identify as someone who is always exploring, always changing, someone who's always looking for new things to try. I don't really ever want to stay the same, and I think that's probably like the biggest defining point of like what I'm trying to do. When I was growing up, I was just an internet kid. Like I was on the internet so much. That was like my own world, and that's how I expressed myself and like yada yada. And it became kind of like a competition with like other people on the internet who could get like the coolest record that like no one knows. I remember really enjoying that ritual of like getting on LimeWire and like downloading and everything, because it felt like you had to work for whatever it is that you wanted to listen to. But in those moments, it became such a part of my identity that I think I inadvertently over time, I guess like developed my own taste for things and found my own voice in that as well. I was probably about 16 or 17 when I got my first vinyl, AT and like how explosive and how like I was like, oh my God, and I was just so obsessed. I was like convinced this was like the greatest like album that was ever made. And Outkast was always kind of like this, you know, group that like influenced me in so many ways, like style and vibe and music, like everything about them was like so cool to me. Moses Sumney is a really special human. I saw that he was playing at the Sydney Opera House. I kind of expected it to be just, you know, him, a band. Like, he was actually mind-blowing live. Just because, again, you don't really see that anymore. Like, you don't see artists like belting like that. And I think it was one of those performances as well that I thought about for like weeks. And I was just stewing and stewing and stewing and being like, I'm already singing on stage for other people. I'm already getting into the studio, getting paid to, you know, do sessions for other people. Or why am I not doing this? Just with the, you know, music and the style of performance I do often want to connect and like show up authentically and actually be able to let go. That can't come from my brain. Because if it comes from my brain, then it ain't it. It was towards the end, it was a performance at Mary's Underground. For some reason, that particular show was like pivotal in me like coming out of my shell in a live aspect. I don't know, there was just this like energy in the room, and I was like, oh, that's what's supposed to happen when you're doing a show. You're not supposed to be in your head being like trying to get every single note perfect and trying to like look perfect and like yada yada yada. It was just like a perfect concoction for me to finally understand what I want to feel on stage. And I think since then, I know where to steer if I'm doing a show. I'm like, I'm not getting close to that feeling, so there must be something that I'm missing or something I need, and I can kind of check in with myself a little bit more efficiently. Even though I had already started thinking about doing music, I had no idea how I was going to do it. And it's just one of those like universal like synchronicities or whatever you want to call it, because I was working at this really fancy restaurant, and she looked at me and she was like, I recognize you. And I was like, really? And she was like, yeah, I've seen your videos, like you sing. And I was like, oh yeah. And she was like, let's meet up. I want to like talk to you about like music stuff. Like I'm looking to like manage someone. And I was like, huh. The week before I met Nadine was like, I'm quitting. I was doing the whole like fake it till you make it thing, you know? She was like, so what do you want? And I was like, I want this, I think. Sometimes, you know, you just need someone to make it concrete you need someone to be like, oh yeah, you want to do that? That's actually all possible. I feel like music is the thing that has always like threaded every memory, every life, goal, every important thing that's ever happened in my life. I often think about making music and wanting to just add to the ocean of music that, has affected me so much. I hope that people walk away from my music or my performances and feel a little bit closer to themselves, really, because that's what music did to me.